From the very first second, no one could believe what they were hearing. JD Vance, the man who has built an entire political persona on control, calculation, and staying 10 steps ahead, was suddenly caught completely off guard. Why? Because Erika Kirk, the woman who has remained silent for years, silent through rumors, silent through accusations, silent through whispers about backroom conversations and unexplained connections, has finally spoken out, and not with a soft statement, not with a carefully crafted PR-approved paragraph, but with a voice that shook the entire political and influencer world at its core. Fans are shocked, insiders are scrambling, and even Vance's closest allies admit they never expected this. For months, tension had been building quietly. People noticed Erika's subtle social media hints, late-night posts with vague captions, likes on comments calling out hypocrisy, and moments on live streams where she would pause just a second too long before choosing her words. Everyone felt something boiling, but nobody knew how close it was to erupting. And then, without warning, without permission, and without fear, she finally said it. She finally broke the silence. And the fallout has been nothing short of explosive. When Erika's voice note leaked, yes, a voice note so raw, so emotional, so painfully honest that listeners replayed it over and over just to believe it was real, everything changed. "I'm done protecting people who would never protect me," she said, her voice shaking but steady. In that moment, the entire narrative flipped. JD Vance's team panicked behind the scenes. Texts flew, calls were ignored. Advisors begged him to respond immediately, but sources say he was too stunned to even form a coherent sentence. One insider claimed, he kept pacing, repeating the same thing. Why now? Why would she say this now? Emotions ran high as the public reacted in real time. Fans flooded Erika's posts with support, calling her brave, calling her powerful, calling her the only one telling the truth. Meanwhile, JD Vance's supporters demanded answers he wasn't ready to give. The family was left divided, with some relatives quietly siding with Erika, while others urged her to take everything back before things reached a point of no return. But the most chilling part wasn't the message itself, it was the implication behind it. Erika didn't just speak out about one incident. She hinted at years of silence, years of pressure, years of secrets she claims she was forced to bury for the sake of image. And if her words are true, then the carefully constructed public persona surrounding JD Vance may be on the verge of collapsing entirely. Because for the first time ever, someone who knows him, someone who was close, someone who understood the private conversations and hidden moves, is no longer willing to play along. And now everyone is asking the same question. What pushed Erika Kirk to the edge? What really happened behind the scenes? And most importantly, what comes next? Now that the silence is broken and JD Vance has no choice but to face the storm she has unleashed. The moment Erika Kirk broke her silence, the entire political media landscape froze. But what people didn't know was that her decision wasn't sudden at all. It was the result of months of quiet suffering, hidden conversations, and moments when she tried to convince herself that staying silent was safer. But deep down, she knew the truth was eating her alive. Fans who had followed her for years always sensed something behind her forced smiles and carefully polished public appearances. But even they were shocked when they realized how much she had been holding back. Behind the scenes, the drama was already unbearable long before the day she finally said enough. As Erika's message continued to circulate, insiders began whispering that JD Vance had been completely blindsided. Not just because she spoke out, but because of what she hinted at. She didn't expose any direct details yet, but she made it clear that she had secrets, dangerous ones, personal ones, the kind that could tear down reputations built over years. And when a person who has been quiet for so long finally decides to speak, it's never without reason. You can only carry someone else's weight for so long before you break, she said in the leaked audio, and her voice cracked at just the right moment, sending chills through anyone who listened. Behind closed doors, JD Vance was pacing endlessly, his advisors desperately trying to reach out to communication experts, damage control teams, and anyone who could guide them through the sudden storm. But nothing seemed to calm him. People close to him said he kept muttering, "Why would she say that? Why now? What did I do?" But the more he repeated it, the more it became obvious he wasn't confused, he was scared. Scared of what she knew. Scared of what she might reveal next. Scared that the image he fought so hard to build could crumble overnight if she decided to speak the full truth. Meanwhile, Erika's circle was completely different. Her friends weren't shocked that she finally spoke, they were shocked it took this long. One of them reportedly said, "She's been holding everything in 4 years. She kept trying to protect him even when he didn't deserve it." And that small remark set the internet ablaze. Comments flooded in with theories, speculations, and wild assumptions. Some fans insisted it was all connected to old disagreements the couple never addressed publicly. Others claimed it had to do with political moves, hidden alliances, broken promises. But the one theory that went most viral suggested something far darker, that Erika had been pressured for years to stay quiet. And now the emotional toll had finally broken her. And it wasn't just fans talking. Family members from both sides started stepping forward, some anonymously, others bold enough to attach their names. One cousin reportedly said, "There were so many arguments behind those perfect photos. Erika cried more nights than people know." Another claimed JD Vance would get frustrated whenever Erika questioned decisions he made for both of them without asking. He wanted control, the cousin added softly, and she gave it to him because she loved him. But betrayal changes everything. And those words spread fast. Betrayal changes everything. Erika's supporters used it like a battle cry. JD Vance's supporters tried to push back, insisting she was exaggerating, that she was emotional, that she was being influenced by others. But that only made things worse. The moment people suggested she was being manipulated, Erika posted a simple message on her private story. "I'm speaking for myself, no one else." And that tiny line went viral within minutes. Fans reposted it endlessly, praising her strength, her courage, her voice. Even celebrities chimed in, calling her brave, fearless, and the one woman exposing the truth. But things got even more intense when a second leak dropped, not a voice note, not a screenshot, but a short clip from a private family gathering. In it, Erika was seen quietly wiping tears while JD Vance, unaware he was being recorded, spoke sharply at her. The audio was muffled, but one word could clearly be heard: responsibility. He kept repeating it, pointing his finger, pacing the room. At one point, he said, "You owe me this. You owe me silence." And even though the rest was hard to understand, that one line was enough to flip the internet upside down. The reaction was immediate. Influencers created hour-long breakdowns of the 7-second clip. Fans analyzed every frame. Body language experts appeared on live streams giving their take. People argued nonstop in the comments. But the overwhelming majority agreed. JD Vance had something to hide. And Erika wasn't lying when she said she was tired of protecting people who wouldn't protect her. The betrayal angle became stronger with every new rumor. Some insiders suggested JD had promised Erika certain things in private emotional support, partnership, transparency that he never delivered. Others hinted at political deals that affected their personal life, adding more pressure than Erika could handle. One source even claimed that JD would often dismiss Erika's feelings by saying she was being dramatic, which only infuriated her supporters further. "Calling a woman dramatic when she's reaching her breaking point is gaslighting," one fan wrote, and thousands agreed. But the biggest explosion came from a different direction entirely. A former friend of the couple, someone they used to travel with, hinted that JD Vance had been keeping secrets from Erika for years. He underestimated her, the friend said in a now-deleted tweet. He thought she would never speak, but she knows more than he realizes. And once again, the internet caught fire. The idea that Erika might have even more to expose, more to reveal, more truth to drop, sent the story spiraling into chaos. Journalists tried reaching out to JD's team, but the responses were cold, short, and clearly panicked. "No comment. We are reviewing the situation. Privacy is needed at this time." Each statement only made the public more curious. Meanwhile, Erika refused to go silent again. She didn't issue long statements or public interviews yet, but every tiny thing she did online became interpreted as a message. If she liked a post about healing, fans said she was preparing to expose everything. If she liked a post about independence, fans said she was leaving him. This could destroy him. And those words echoed through every corner of the media. But the real turning point came late one night when Erika posted a cryptic message: "I'm not afraid anymore." It was only for words, but it shook everything. Her supporters celebrated. Jade's team panicked. Insiders said he didn't sleep that night. He kept calling old friends, old partners, old advisors, trying to figure out what she might say next. "She doesn't know everything," one advisor tried to reassure him. But JD didn't believe it. His silence, his pacing, his restless energy all made it clear. He was terrified of what she might reveal. And with each passing hour, the world grew more convinced that the truth she held wasn't just emotional, it was explosive. Something big, something hidden, something that the public was never meant to hear. And as Erika prepared herself quietly, fans waited breathlessly, knowing part one was only the beginning. The real exposed moment was still coming, and when it did, nothing would ever be the same for JD Vance. Erika Kirk, or anyone connected to their story. As the night rolled into early morning, Erika's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages from friends, distant relatives, reporters, and even influencers she barely knew filled her notifications, but she ignored every single one. Her silence wasn't fear anymore. It was intention. She wanted JD Vance to feel the weight of uncertainty, to understand what it felt like to wait, to wonder, to panic over what might come next. For years, she had carried the pressure alone, protecting him from consequences he created. Now, the roles had reversed, and she wasn't going to soften the blow. People close to her said she slept peacefully that night for the first time in months, while JD Vance spent the same night awake, replaying every private conversation, every argument, every moment he wished he handled differently. By the time the sun rose, the internet was in full meltdown. Hashtags with her name were trending globally. Influencers made hour-long live streams analyzing her every move. Politicians were quietly calling their media consultants, asking how to distance themselves without looking suspicious. Even celebrities who never commented on political drama were posting vague messages about women finding their voice and the cost of silence. And through all of this noise, Erika remained unreadable. No posts, no comments, no clarifications, nothing. The stillness made the public even more shocked. They expected her to speak again quickly, but instead she let the tension grow like a storm cloud ready to burst. JD Vance tried to make a public appearance that morning, but people who were there described him as distracted, stiff, and unfocused. He avoided reporters, avoided direct eye contact, avoided anything that might force him to address the situation, but avoiding only made people speculate more. Even the way he walked, the way he adjusted his tie, the way he cleared his throat suddenly became clues. Analysts slowed down footage of him on the morning news and claimed he looked anxious, like he was anticipating something catastrophic. The drama surrounding his every movement was exhausting, yet he couldn't shake it. Hours later, something unexpected happened. A journalist from an independent outlet posted a thread saying she had received anonymous documents connected to Erika's claims. She didn't share them yet, but she implied they were significant. If these are real, she wrote, it could change everything. Instantly, everyone demanded she reveal them, but the journalist resisted, saying she had to verify authenticity. The uncertainty ignited even more chaos. Fans believed it. Jade's supporters insisted it was fake, but deep down, the fear in JD's camp suggested otherwise. And then, in the middle of all this chaos, Erika finally broke her silence again, but not with words. She posted a single black and white photo of herself standing near a window, looking out at the city. Her face wasn't visible. The caption had only one word: ready? That was it. No explanations, no context. One simple message, and the world exploded with speculation. Some people thought she was hinting at dropping more truth. Others believed she was beginning a legal battle. Some said she was preparing to expose JD entirely. But one thing everyone agreed on: this wasn't random. Erika was building towards something massive. By afternoon, the tension reached a breaking point when a close friend of Erika went live on Instagram. Unable to hold her frustration any longer, with tears in her eyes, she said, "People think Erika is exaggerating, but they don't know what she's survived. She kept secrets to protect him, secrets she never should have carried alone." And those words, spoken emotionally, shakily, but passionately, became the new headline everywhere. The friend didn't clarify what those secrets were, but the implication was enough to send shockwaves through political circles. If Erika had protected JD from something damaging, what did he do? And why was she finally done protecting him now? JD Vance's team scrambled to release a statement, but nothing sounded sincere. Drafts were written, reviewed, deleted, rewritten. One advisor begged him to address Erika privately before things escalated further. Another warned him that reaching out now could be interpreted as pressure or manipulation. JD was torn. He knew Erika was unpredictable now. Anything he said could be screenshot, leaked, twisted. The safest move was silence. But silence was also the most painful. He knew she wasn't bluffing. He knew her quietest words could cut the deepest because they were rooted in truth. As evening settled in, a new twist emerged. Someone anonymously uploaded a private voicemail from JD to an obscure forum. Within minutes, it spread across social media. His voice sounded tense, pleading, "We can fix this," he said in the recording. "Please call me, don't make this worse." People froze. If JD said "don't make this worse," it meant something was already bad, something he didn't want the world to know. Erika didn't comment on the leak, but she reposted a quote on her story that read, "Silence is not the absence of truth, it's the fear of facing it. That sentence alone destroyed any remaining hope JD's team had of controlling the narrative. The public split into two camps. One side demanded full transparency, insisting Erika owed the world the complete story. The other side argued she owed them nothing and was reclaiming her power after years of being dismissed. And in the middle of all this were the families, confused, emotional, and unwilling to take sides publicly. One relative from JD's side insisted the whole thing was a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. Another relative from Erika's side whispered to a reporter that she had warned JD for years, "You're going to lose her if you keep acting like this." And then came the moment that shifted the entire timeline of events. Late that night, Erika posted a long note, still cryptic, still indirect, but far more revealing than anything before. She wrote, "You can pretend everything is fine on the outside, but inside you know the lies you told, the pressure you put, the promises you broke." She never said his name, but everyone knew exactly who she meant. The betrayal she hinted at was no longer speculation. It was a growing storm waiting for the final strike. After she posted that, the internet erupted. "She's confirming it." Fans screamed, "She's calling him out." Analysts dissected every sentence. Political commentators debated the ramifications. For the first time, even JD's supporters began to doubt him. They asked themselves what exactly he had done to push Erika to this point. What was the betrayal she could no longer carry? What were the secrets she no longer wanted to protect? Others theorized something even darker. That JD Vance had attempted to control more than just the narrative. That his political ambition had seeped so deeply into their marriage that Erika no longer recognized the man she once loved. They speculated that he prioritized power over honesty, image over intimacy, silence over truth. Some even believed Erika discovered something she wasn't meant to see: documents, messages, conversations that forced her to confront the lies he told, not just the world, but her. And then, when people least expected it, someone leaked an alleged chat conversation between Erika and a private confidant. The screenshots showed Erika saying things like, "I was naive for too long, and he thought I would never leave. And most damning of all, the things I stayed quiet about could end everything he's built." That last line became the most repeated quote online. Influencers printed it on merch overnight. Journalists used it as a headline. Fans shouted it in comment sections. It became the defining phrase of the entire scandal. JD Vance's camp denied the authenticity, calling them fabricated, calling them politically motivated, calling them distractions. But denial didn't stop the damage. People believed Erika because she didn't desperately try to convince them. She said almost nothing, and silence bared with her calm. Controlled demeanor spoke louder than any press conference JD could ever give. But while the world was focused on Erika, JD was unraveling privately. He tried calling her dozens of times. None were answered. He texted repeatedly. None were read. He contacted mutual friends, hoping they could mediate, but they refused to get involved. One friend told him flatly, "This is what happens when you ignore someone's," predicting what she would reveal next. News outlets prepared emergency coverage. Fans refused to sleep, refreshing constantly. JD Vance sat alone in his home office, staring at his phone, terrified of what was coming. Because tomorrow wasn't just another day. Tomorrow was when Erika Kirk would begin exposing the truth he feared most. The next morning arrived with an intensity no one was prepared for. Media vans parked outside JD Vance's home before sunrise. Drones hovered above the street. Influencers started their live streams with countdown clocks, waiting for Erika to make her move. Everyone knew something was coming. They just didn't know what. JD barely slept, if he slept at all. He sat at the edge of his bed, staring at his phone, waiting for any sign from Erika. But there was nothing. She hadn't read his messages, hadn't listened to his voicemails, hadn't made a single move online. Her silence turned into pressure, the kind that squeezes a person until they crack. Fans were glued to their screens the moment the clock struck 8 a.m. and then, without warning, Erika's account posted, not a message, not a video, but a document on actual scanned page from what appeared to be a private conversation between her and JD. The title at the top was blurred, but the text below was clear. It described a moment months earlier, when Erika confronted JD about something she found that didn't make sense. According to the document, JD dismissed her concerns, told her she was overthinking, and then asked her to stay quiet until everything settles. Those words, "stay quiet," were now exposed to millions. The internet erupted instantly. "This is it," people screamed. "She has proof." The drama doubled in intensity as analysts zoomed in on the document, trying to decipher every blurred line. Every time, Jade's team scrambled, claiming the document was taken out of context, but the damage was done. Erika had taken the first step toward revealing the truth she'd been hinting at for days. But she didn't stop there. Minutes later, she posted a voice message, a short recording of her speaking to someone privately. In the audio, she said, "I did everything he asked, even when it hurt me, but he never thought about what it cost me." Her voice cracked just enough to sound real, raw, human. Fans felt it instantly. It didn't matter who she was talking to or when the recording was made. The emotion was undeniable. She wasn't fabricating pain, she was living it. The public's sympathy surged toward her like a tidal wave. Comments poured in. "You deserve better. Tell your truth. Expose everything." Hashtags demanding accountability trended worldwide. Even celebrities began openly supporting her, calling out JD Vance for letting things get to this point. And through all of this, JD remained silent, frozen between fear and disbelief. But then something unexpected happened. An old friend of JD's, someone who had worked closely with both of them, gave an anonymous interview. They described moments where Erika seemed exhausted, emotionally drained, but tried to maintain composure for the sake of JD's career. The friend described late-night arguments, uncomfortable silences, and situations where JD allegedly pressured Erika into supporting decisions she didn't agree with. "If she talks," the friend warned, "she can destroy everything. He knows that. She knows that. That's why he's terrified." The public took those words and ran with them. The idea that JD Vance's entire public image depended on Erika's silence was a story too big, too messy, too dramatic for the world to ignore. Influencers made entire series analyzing their marriage. Journalists dug into old interviews, trying to spot cracks in their dynamic. Fans posted side-by-side comparisons of Erika's smiles over the years, pointing out which ones looked forced. And then, just as JD's team was preparing to release a statement to calm everything down, Erika posted something that changed the entire trajectory of the scandal. It was a text screenshot, short, blurry, but readable. It showed JD saying, "You promised you wouldn't talk about this. It's not just about us. You know what's at stake." The meaning was vague, but its implication was enormous. What was at stake? Why would her speaking affect more than their relationship? What exactly was he trying to protect? Fans were shocked. Politicians panicked. Analysts speculated wildly. And Erika didn't explain anything. She simply posted the screenshot and went offline again, letting the world drown in questions. Jade's team was thrown into chaos. The advisors argued with each other, unable to agree on a strategy. Some insisted JD should speak publicly immediately. Others said responding now would only validate Erika's claims. JD himself was falling apart. He paced the room, gripping his phone, whispering to himself, "This can't be happening." But deep down, he knew it could. He knew it was only a matter of time before his carefully constructed world began to crack. Another leak surfaced by afternoon, this time from an unknown source. It was an email chain between JD and a consultant, discussing narrative control and ensuring no external commentary. The email was vague, but suspicious enough to intensify the drama. People questioned whether JD was trying to silence Erika publicly, not just privately. Conspiracy theories grew thicker, darker, and louder. The idea of a political cover-up was now trending. Erika still hadn't named anything directly, but she didn't have to. The lies were unraveling themselves, just when it seemed things couldn't escalate further. A video clip appeared online. It showed Erika leaving a meeting in tears months ago. A paparazzi photographer had captured the moment without realizing how important it would become later. In the video, someone off-camera asked her if she was okay, and she answered, "I'm fine. I'm just tired of pretending." That single sentence, simple, emotional, honest, became the new centerpiece of the scandal. Erika wasn't angry. She was hurt. The betrayal she carried was deeper than anyone imagined. People began questioning everything JD had ever said publicly. They dissected old speeches, interviews, podcasts, looking for inconsistencies, hidden meaning, moments where he might have contradicted himself. Every tiny detail suddenly mattered. Every phrase was suspicious. Every smile was questioned. The world was no longer viewing JD Vance through the lens of his political career. They were viewing him through the voice of the woman he had underestimated. Meanwhile, Erika received overwhelming support. Strangers sent her messages of love. Fans called her an inspiration. Influencers created videos praising her bravery. She had unintentionally become a symbol for women reclaiming their voice after years of being silenced. Her strength, her calmness, her refusal to be intimidated, all of it added to her growing public power. But what made the situation even more intense was the speculation surrounding what Erika hadn't shared yet. Everyone knew she still held secrets. Everyone sensed she had more to reveal, and the more she held back, the more desperate the world became to know. Jade's team feared the worst. They didn't know what she had or what she intended to release next. The uncertainty was destroying them. And then, in the midst of all the chaos, an insider leaked something shocking. Erika was preparing a formal statement, not a social media post, not a story, not a leak, a full, public statement. The insider said she had been working on it quietly for days, arranging her words carefully so that no one could twist them. The statement, according to the source, will expose the truth. Those 4 words were all it took. The media lost its mind. Fans set alarms. Influencers created countdown videos. Even news channels prepared special coverage. JD Vance, upon hearing this, reportedly froze. He knew Erika's intelligence. He knew her attention to detail. He knew she wouldn't speak unless she could back up every word. This wasn't an emotional outburst. This was intentional. Controlled. Devastating. But the real heartbreaker came when another source revealed something that stunned even Erika's supporters. She had given JD countless chances to fix things privately, countless chances to apologize, to take accountability, to save their relationship, but each time, he pushed it aside, prioritizing public image over personal healing. And now, she was done hiding behind politeness. That evening, Erika posted one final hint before her upcoming statement. She wrote, "The truth deserves daylight." The moment those words went live, the internet exploded in anticipation. Supporters cheered. Critics panicked. Jade's team scrambled. And JD himself sat quietly, realizing that everything he feared was finally coming for him. Because once Erika Kirk decided to speak, nothing could stop her. Not pressure, not fear, not him. And when she reveals everything, the world will finally understand the betrayal she endured and the lies that held their relationship together for far too long. Morning broke with an eerie stillness, the kind that precedes a storm no one can outrun. Everyone was awake early, refreshing Erika's page over and over, waiting for the moment she would finally speak. Fans had been counting down ever since she announced the statement. News channels had rearranged their schedules. Influencers prepared reaction videos in advance. Even those who had previously ignored the situation were now glued to their screens. JD Vance's world, however, had gone silent not by choice, but from paralyzing fear. He sat alone in his office, staring at a blank notepad, unable to write a single word of the response he knew he would eventually need. Rumors had been circulating since dawn. Some said Erika was meeting with lawyers. A few even believed she might drop recordings, actual audio clips that could destroy JD's political trajectory in seconds. The speculation was relentless. It didn't matter what the theory was. People were ready to believe anything. That's what happens when trust collapses and secrets start slipping through the cracks. Everyone knew the betrayal was real, even if they didn't yet know the details. By 10 a.m., social media exploded again when Erika posted a photo not of herself, but of a handwritten page. The photo was partially blurred, but one sentence was fully visible. "I stayed quiet to protect someone who never protected me." That single line became the biggest headline of the day. Reporters analyzed her handwriting. Fans tried to read the blurred paragraphs. Every detail sparked new questions. Who did she protect? What exactly happened? How long had she been suffering in silence? And why had JD Vance allowed things to reach this point? JD, upon seeing the post, reportedly froze. He knew exactly what that sentence meant. He knew she was referring to moments he had hoped would never be exposed. Moments he had convinced himself were too small, too private, or too emotionally complex for her to ever speak about. But Erika had reached the point of no return. She wasn't protecting anyone anymore. Not him, not his career, not his public facade. As she prepared her official statement, more leaks surfaced. An anonymous insider released screenshots of calendar entries, showing meetings, private events, and consultations that raised more questions than answers. Some entries hinted at late-night discussions JD had never publicly acknowledged. Others pointed to events where Erika was present but unusually quiet. According to witnesses, the entries didn't prove anything on their own, but they added fuel to the drama, painting a picture of a woman who had been sidelined in her own life for far too long. Fans began connecting dots in ways that terrified JD's team. Was there a hidden agreement between JD and someone else? Had Erika discovered something political, something financial, something personal? The possibilities spiraled into a storm so big that controlling the narrative became impossible. Jade's team attempted to issue a preemptive statement claiming misunderstandings. But public interest had already shifted fully to Erika. People didn't want JD's version anymore. They wanted hers. They wanted the truth, not carefully worded political damage control. And then, unexpectedly, a video began circulating online. It showed Erika sitting in a quiet room, talking to someone behind the camera. The clip was old, maybe months, maybe years, but her expression said everything. She looked tired, heartbroken, and unsure of her own voice. Like someone who had been shrinking quietly in the shadow of someone else's spotlight for far too long. "I feel like I'm disappearing," she whispered in the video. "Like my feelings don't matter. Like I'm just here to support him, even when it hurts me." It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But it was real, so real that people watching felt their chest tighten. The clip was devastating in a way that no scripted moment ever could be. The vulnerability, the honesty, the raw emotion, it was impossible to ignore. And the fact that she had felt this way long before her recent posts showed that the issues between her and JD weren't sudden, they were deep, old, and consistently ignored while the world assumed they were fine. As the clip spread, Jade's advisors escalated into full panic. Phones buzzed non-stop. Screens lit up with emergency alerts. Some advisors argued that they needed to release their own videos showing JD as supportive and loving. They wanted polished footage, smiling moments, carefully edited clips where JD appeared attentive. Others said that would only make things worse, that people would see right through it. A few begged JD to reach out to Erika privately, to apologize, to stop everything before it escalated beyond repair. But JD didn't know how to fix something he had spent years pretending didn't need fixing. For the first time, he looked terrified, blindsided by the consequences of his own silence. He whispered to an advisor, "I didn't think she would ever do this." The advisor replied, "That's the problem. You thought she'd accept this forever." Afternoon arrived, and Erika's silence became unbearable. The world waited for her statement with breathless anticipation. Fans filled comment sections with encouragement, waiting for her to finally reveal everything. Political pundits prepared emergency broadcasts, rearranging their entire schedules. Jade's team feared that whatever she released would be the final blow, not just to his image, but to everything he had built around the illusion of stability. And then, at exactly 3 p.m., Erika posted again, but it still wasn't the full statement. Instead, it was a short message. "The truth deserves time. It deserves clarity. It deserves courage." The public melted down instantly. Some were thrilled. They saw it as a sign that she was taking control. Others were desperate for more, refreshing her page, nonstop. But everyone knew one thing. Her statement wasn't going to be impulsive. It was going to be deliberate, thoughtful, and possibly catastrophic. Inside studios, journalists prepared multi-panel discussions. Outside JD's home, reporters shouted questions, but he refused to come out. He closed the blinds, turned off his phone, and sat in the dark, trying to prepare himself mentally. But the more he thought about it, the more he realized there was no preparing for this. Not when Erika knew so much. Not when her pain ran so deep. Not when he had built a life on lies she no longer agreed to carry. As evening approached, another new leak emerged, this one far more explosive than the last. An audio clip surfaced, allegedly capturing a heated argument between JD and Erika. In the clip, JD could be heard saying, "I need you to support my decisions publicly. You can't question everything. It makes me look weak." The tone wasn't violent, but it was firm, too cold, too dismissive. Erika's voice replied, trembling but strong, "I'm not here to make you look powerful. I'm here to be your partner." The clip ended abruptly, but it was enough. Enough to ignite a wildfire. Enough to confirm what people feared. Fans cried. Critics raged. Supporters of Erika declared it the final confirmation of emotional manipulation. Jade's team rushed to claim the audio was edited, taken out of context, manufactured to damage his reputation. But the public didn't care. They believed Erika. They believed her pain. They believed her words. And the argument made everything click. This wasn't about a single betrayal. This was about years of sacrifice. Years of being silenced. Years of being told her voice didn't matter as much as his ambitions. Erika wasn't just exhausted, she was done. And the world could feel it. At 7 p.m., Erika finally gave one more hint. She posted a countdown, timer not long, not dramatic, just a simple clock set to expire the next morning. Her followers exploded in excitement. Supporters flooded the comments. Even people who didn't follow her rushed to her page, desperate to see what would happen next. JD saw the timer and felt his heart sink. He knew this was not a bluff. She was ready. She was truly ready to reveal the truth he had avoided for far too long. That night, Erika stayed quiet. She didn't respond to messages or post anything else. But she didn't need to. The countdown lived in everyone's mind. Fans stayed awake, refreshing endlessly. Media outlets prepared breaking news alerts. Analysts debated what she might share: documents, recordings, emails, screenshots. or perhaps her full emotional story. Insiders whispered that this was only the beginning. But while the world waited, JD spent the night in a state of dread. He thought about the times he dismissed her concerns, the moments she cried quietly while he prepared another speech, the times she asked him to slow down, to be present, to be honest. He remembered brushing off her feelings, saying they would deal with things later. But later had arrived, and it was no longer under his control. And the most terrifying part for JD wasn't what she might expose. It was realizing that Erika was no longer afraid of him, of the consequences, or of the lies she had once tolerated. She had found her voice, and once she chose to speak, no power, no influence, no political strategy could silence her again. When the world woke up the next morning, they knew one thing for certain. The countdown had reached its final moments. Erika Kirk was about to break open the story of the year. The truth was coming. The reveal was moments away, and JD Vance's world would never be the same again. And now, as the dust settles and the world stands frozen at the edge of the biggest reveal in this unfolding saga, one thing becomes painfully clear. Nothing about this story was ever simple. The emotions, the tension, the years of silence, the unspoken betrayal, the layers of hidden secrets, all of it has led us here to a moment that feels bigger than just Erika Kirk and JD Vance. It feels like a moment where the truth finally chooses its own time to rise. No matter who it shakes, no matter who it destroys, no matter who is shocked by what comes next. Everything we've seen, every leak, every voice note, every blurred screenshot, every trembling confession has painted a picture of a woman who carried too much for too long. She held the weight of someone else's public image, someone else's ambitions, someone else's comfort, until there was nothing left for her. And when she finally stopped protecting the person who never protected her, the world didn't just listen, they felt the depth of her pain. Because this wasn't just drama. This wasn't just gossip. This wasn't just another internet moment. This was a human being finally saying,